Greetings and welcome finally to the Mod of the Month awards for the winners of the Morrowind Modathon Month 2nd annual modding competition from way back in May. And needless to say, this video has been delayed quite a lot. First we couldn't find enough judges to actually go through and rate all the mods, and then there were problems with voter rigging with the popular poll. A couple of modders actually dropped out because of that, and then there were some playability concerns with one of the winning mods. But thankfully that's all been fixed now, so at long last I'm happy to present this year's winning batch of Modathon Month mods. And it was a pretty big competition this year. In total we had over 29 mods submitted for the Morrowind Modathon Month, which is nearly twice the number of mods that we had in 2015. And overall we have a lot of repeat winners this year. In fact, two of the winners for this year are returning winners from 2015, and we have one newcomer with Bal Isra Rising by Dagoth Agahnim taking first place, and Scamp Replacer by PeterBitt and Pherim taking second place, and Belial, a Dismal Daedric companion by Agahnim, taking third place. Now, needless to say, you can find the download links for all three of these mods down in the video description below, and you can also find a link to a full breakdown of all the mods released for the Morrowind Modathon Month down in the video description as well. We had a ton of just really great mods that were submitted this year, and it's unfortunate that not all of them won prizes, so we're actually going to be focusing a lot on some of the other Modathon Month mods that we didn't showcase as much in episode 52 of Morrowind Modding Showcases in a few weeks. Now let's get started with our showcase here by showing off our first place contestant who's won the Mod of the Month award for the 2016 Modathon competition, Bal Isra Rising by Dagoth Agahnim. And Bal Isra Rising is, simply put, an expansion of Indari's Manor and the Raiderin stronghold that you get as part of the Raiderin Great House questline. Basically, it extends the stronghold building process past the third stage stronghold that you get as the Archmagister, adding about a dozen quests that directly relate to building up the settlement around Bal Isra. And most of these quests will involve, spending a fair amount of gold and, of course, waiting for everything to actually get constructed. The first stage is, a basic expansion, adding extended walls and watchtowers to Bal Isra, providing an outline for how large the city can grow once you start building additional homes and services, and you can kind of see that it dominates the roadway here between Aldrun and Morgan. And after this initial expansion, you have the opportunity to choose which new additions that you'd like to get constructed in Bal Isra. There are a lot of options, from housing to a market, barracks, tavern, caravan, mine, temple, and blacksmith, and you can choose which one you want to have built first and in what order. Housing will bring in tax revenue, but markets will provide you with services including a lot of merchants. Barracks will provide protection from the wasteland creatures, which is a pretty big concern for this area, considering you have, a ton of cliff races and the like. A caravan will provide fast transport to and from nearby settlements, and so on and so forth. Eventually, depending on what you decide, you'll start seeing these buildings pop up around Bal Isra, and you'll find that some of the NPCs that reside here will have, some small-time side quests for you to do, like, clearing out bandits and the like. In addition, a lot of the vanilla interiors of the Bal Isra stronghold have been given a makeover, including Indari's Manor, where you'll find the stronghold secretary, who manages Bal Isra's finances, and where you can collect taxes once you have some residents providing, a stream of revenue. The secretary also provides a few additional quests, such as acquiring a farmer to provide food for the settlement and hiring a bartender to sell booze to the stronghold guards. And you also find that the interior layout here has been given a pretty major update, though many of the rooms do appear to be somewhat similar to their vanilla counterparts. But you also have a set of new quarters located down below for storing and displaying items as you so desire. And here you can see a mostly complete version of the Bal Isra stronghold with Bal Isra Rising. Needless to say, this will conflict with pretty much every other Bal Isra mod out there, such as Centurion Stronghold mod or V's and Dairies, but it certainly does make Bal Isra look a bit more, like an actual city, which is, kind of the point. And you will also notice there's a few open spaces down in the lower quarters, and that's because I didn't actually, completely finish the stronghold before recording this. A lot of that space ends up getting used by the markets, and the markets can be a bit laggy. They have a lot of exterior detailing, at least on my computer, so for the sake of having a semi-stable video, I chose not to record them. But in any event, Bal Isra Rising is a pretty scenic and, dramatic mod, I would say. I especially like all of the towers that are used in the design here that lend an air of, sort of verticality to this Raiderin settlement. And Bal Isra Rising is certainly one of the larger mods released as part of the Morrowind Modathon Month this year. In terms of content, there's a lot to see here, and also a lot of quests to do, which is, always a nice bonus. but I don't want to spoil everything, so naturally I'm just going to leave off with this showcase here, and you'll just have to check out Bal Isra Rising for yourself on the Nexus to see all the new additions that this mod adds. And next up we have our second place winners and last year's first place winners, Scamp Replacer by PeterBitt and Pherim. Now, Scamp Replacer is, as you might imagine, a complete texture model replacer for the Scamps of Vvardenfell, pretty much in line with what you'd expect from PeterBitt and Pherim after their amazing Nixhound replacer that won last year's competition and their Cliffraiser replacer that was released late last year. I thought I'd start out by, featuring everyone's favorite Scamp, Creeper, with these, new models and textures, and you can tell that these are just beautifully detailed. I'm kind of getting up close here, but you can make out a lot of detail here, including veins, muscles, fingernails along Creeper's fingers, tufts of fur, and, so much more. And this is without a doubt one of the most up-to-date and detailed replaces for Morrowind Scamps, and much like PeterBitt and Pherim's previous creature replaces, these are future-proof with support for Open Morrowind, which we'll be getting to in a moment. But first I want to take a look at these new Scamps out in an exterior cell around Sotha in the Ascadian Isles, so you can see how they look moving around under more, sort of normal circumstances and normal lighting conditions. Moving on to the Open Morrowind version, here you can once again see Creeper, and the models and textures work here is again just really great looking with lots of detail. And for those curious, I'm using the latest version of Open Morrowind, version 0.39, for the video footage here. And just going once again to Sotha, I'm sort of doing a time-lapse video here to show off these Scamp Replacers at different times of day with the exterior lighting effects, and, gosh, these models just really look good, don't they? It's no wonder that Scamp Replacer has come in the top 3 mods again this year, even with the increased competition from nearly twice the number of competing mods over last year's competition. There's just a lot of skill and quality crafting that has been poured into this replacer, and that's really just quite apparent, I think. We're going on to our third place finisher. We have Belial, a Dismal Daedric companion by Agahnim. And, we've already covered Belial in an independent showcase video earlier, since it did win one of the random drawings for the final week of May. But regardless, for those that missed that, Belial is a quest and companion mod that starts out in the small village of Morgan with a mysterious high elf who has a decidedly very long story to tell and wants vengeance on a certain Daedric individual. And this is one of the nice things about Agahnim mods. They always seem to have an element of, choice to them. You can choose to do as the High Elf asks and, track down this Daedra and kill him, getting a quest reward and coin it a day, or you can make this Daedra your companion in spite of what the High Elf wants, and travel around Vvardenfell having adventures alongside this Dismal Daedric companion. As you might imagine, it can be very handy to have someone of a sort of, Daedric nature as your traveling companion, who can, just kind of protect you whenever you run into situations that require someone who can summon Daedric weapons or Daedric armaments or something of that nature. Like, for example, if you run into a bunch of sorcerers inside a Daedric shrine and, have to do battle, Belial here comes in quite handy. Or alternatively, if you run into, say, a band of marauding skeletons alongside the road, he can practically take care of all of them just by himself. He's really quite a powerful companion. And despite his perhaps somewhat evil appearance and decidedly dreary attitude, he'll fall alongside you faithfully and, comes equipped with all the standard companion features that you've come to expect from companion mods, including companion share naturally, but also spell casting, combat and tactics changing, and healing spells that he can cast on himself when needed. And that also includes levitation, so he can follow you even into the skies, or water walking, and follow you across the seas. And he also comes equipped with unique dialogue for an assortment of occasions, including, for different towns and cities, and he has decidedly negative opinions about the Empire that he's happy to share with you. And you can also ask other NPCs about Belial, and all the dialogue is, of course, about the futility of existence, so you can always count on Belial to cheer you up in your time of need. And I suppose the last thing to show off here is his actual face, which includes horns, but you only really see those on the rare occasion that he doesn't have his hood on. And anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for the Modathon Month Awards. These were all fantastic mods that are definitely worth checking out, and you can be rest assured that out of the 29 mods released in the 2016 Modathon competition, there are many more that are definitely worth playing as well, and I'd encourage you to check those out. And there's a full list again in the video description below if you want to, go through and play some of those. I want to again thank everyone for participating and making this one of the best modding competitions in Elder Scrolls modding history, and I hope you all participate in next year's modding competition as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time for the 2-year Morrowind Modding Showcase's anniversary episode.